So, there's this weird phenomenon where we've talked about it before, and you all know about this. There are certain people that are working for Chinese state media, working for the CCP, foreigners, other YouTubers, who constantly are on the attack against...
We call them the Shills.
Yeah, I call them the Shills. Constantly on the attack against people like myself and you. But we just hadn't realized up until this point just how desperate they are.
I mean, I have to set this up a little bit.
Please do.
The Shills are the people that work for the Chinese government that always need to apologize for the CCP and what they do, things like genocide denial. They're people that typically live in China currently. The writing's been on the wall for a long time for foreigners to get out, by the way. But these are the guys that stuck around, and we noticed that right before we left China, people like us were not welcome anymore. If you had a camera, just a camera as a foreigner, and you weren't working for state media in China, you have no place in China. Sure. You'll notice that there's very few just impartial vloggers out there that make videos in China because either you work for state media, get endorsed for state media, or you shut the fuck up, right? It's basically how it is. So there's this handful of people left over that they just shill for the Chinese government. I mean, their videos are so on the nose. They'll be like, there is no genocide in Xinjiang, or the laughable Western media lies.
That type of thing, yeah.
The CCP does great things for the people. And you have these Western people, native English speakers, that make these videos by the thousands.
I got to say that there are a couple of people that know how to fly under the radar. They just focus on talking about food and so on.
But by and large.
But they don't gain any real support.
What I'm saying,
That's the problem. If you want to gain support... and a backing from the Chinese government, if you want to, what they think they're doing is solidifying their stay. They're afraid that they're going to get booted out. They see the writing on the wall. Foreigners are more and more becoming the enemy, and so they want to make themselves the friend. They want to be like, I am your friend. You must keep me here. Don't kick me out, please.
Yeah, exactly. So it's kind of like before the fall of Saigon or whatever. It's like the idea that if I suck the dong or the jiba of the CCP, then I'm going to get away with maintaining my life here, right? Yeah. My cheap beer. You see a lot of motivations. Some of them do it for power. Some of them do it for cheap alcohol and the trips.
Yeah, the women.
Maybe the women. And what I want to say is we don't typically talk about these people because, number one, we don't want to signal boost them.
Sure.
And number two, they're pathetic because they constantly go after our characters. They attack our personalities, and they don't attack our arguments. So we've constantly said to them, like in private, when we have dialogues with them, because we've had dialogues with some of these people, their idea is, how are we going to shut down Winston and Seamilk?
Yeah.
How are we going to shut them down? And it's this constant narrative over and over again that they have to shut us down. They have to call us racist. They have to do all these crazy, crazy things to smear our names, right? And our rebuttal every time is just make better content.
Yeah, just do something good.
If you disagree with our sentiment, then make a disagreement and make that video popular.
Yeah.
If you're going to get people to watch your content, then you will immediately combat us, right? But we didn't realize the scope.
And this is why we're talking about this. There's actually another YouTuber who's called the CCP Shillbusters is his channel.
Yeah.
And,
link in the description.
Yeah, there's a link. You got to go check out his video when you get a chance, because he went out with the help of some of his friends and he found just the most ridiculous amount of videos.
And it's not every one.
No.
Not even close.
No, this is just a small sampling. So we thought we'd show it to you just so you can get an idea about how obsessed these people are about us.
If you want to know what the definition of living in your head rent-free is, this is that definition.
Please watch this little compilation he put together. It's hilarious. So let's see.
I really don't like to make these types of videos. This isn't... I try to consider myself a bit above the fray. I let my videos sort of speak for themselves. I do not like singling out anybody or anything.
Serpenzetta, Winston, Serpenza, Serpenza, Winston.
So Winston Sturzel. Winston. He's Matt Ty and Winston Sturzel. Who's Winston, Matthew Ty. Winston and Matt Ty.
Serpenza and Low 86.
Winston Sturzel, Matthew Ty.
Serpenza.
Winston.
Winston Sturzel. Serpent ZA. Winston. Winston Sturzel. Winston. Oh, Winston is. Well, Winston Sturzel. Serpent ZA.
Winston Sturzel.
Law 86. Serpent ZA and Law 86. Serpent ZA and Law 86.
Matthew Tai and Winston Sturzel. Matthew Tai and Winston Sturzel. Winston Sturzel. Matthew Tai. Winston Sturzel and Matthew Tai. Like Winston Sturzel and Matt Tai.
Law 86. Law 86. Law 86.
Winston and Matt. Matthew Tai and Winston Sturzel.
Winston and Matt. Winston and Matt get Winston. Lao 86. Lao 86. Winston's. Lao 86. Matt. Lao 86 is Winston is Matt. Winston. ADVChina. ADV podcast. Serpent ZA. Lao 86. Winston. Serpent ZA. It's Lao 86. ADVChina. Winston. Serpent ZA. Winston and Matt. Winston. And Winston. Winston and Winston. Winston for Winston with Winston. But Winston. This Winston is Serpent ZA. Winston's Serpent ZA. Winston and Matt. Winston and Matt. Matt. Winston. The Serpent ZA. His name's Winston.
A few days ago, one very popular YouTuber,
Winston.
Serpent ZA, Matt Tai, Law 86. Winston and Law Winston, Matt Tai, Matt and Winston.
Winston Sturzel, a Serpent ZA, Matthew Tai, Lawa 86, Winston and Matt. Winston
And Law 86.
Serpent ZA and Lawa 86. Serpent ZA and Lawa 86.
Lawa 86 and Serpent ZA.
Serpent ZA.
Serpenza.
Serpent A, Lawa 86. Winston, like Spain. Winston, Spain.
Serpent ZA, Winston Sturzel. Serpent ZA, Winston Sturzel. Serpent ZA, Serpenza.
Winston Sturzel. Winston.
Serpenza.
Winston Sturzel. Winston.
Serpenza and Lawa 86.
Serpent ZA.
Serpent ZA, Winston Frederick Sturzel. Winston Serpent ZA and his friend Lawai 86. Winston, or Lawai 86 Serpent ZA. You, Winston. Winston
Sturzel, Serpenza.
Serpent ZA and Law 86.
Serpenza Lawai 86.
Serpenza and Lawa 86.
Serpent ZA. Serpent ZD.
Law 86. Serpent ZA. Winston. Serpenza.
Law 86 and Serpent ZA.
Serpent ZA. Serpent ZA. Serpent ZA. Serpent ZA.
Serpent ZA and the Lawa 86.
I really just want to fix up my cars and ride my motorcycles, and nobody's letting me.
Yeah, so I mean, just to give you an idea,
shit.
it's
Wow.
I had no idea that there were so many people that were obsessed with us.
Apparently, that's a minute amount, by the way.
Yeah, no, there's a lot more. There are hundreds and hundreds. You know, the funny thing is that it's actually quite flattering that so many people feel the need to go out and make videos about us.
Yeah, it's usually very horrible things that they say, but wow, I mean, it's mind-blowing to show you. I mean, because let's be honest, these people, they work together hand in hand with the propaganda department of the CCP when they do state media. So the fact that state media in China is incentivized to go out and make hate videos about us, it shows you what kind of impact we have.
I know, it's crazy.
Oh my gosh.
Anyway, we love it. It's very, very interesting to see.
Yeah.
So maybe we'll get another compilation together in the future at some point.
Yeah, and, thanks for all the hard work to Shill Busters. The link to the whole video, Winston did a bit of a rebuttal to some of these guys in the interview.
Well, it's pretty simple. There are a couple of reasons why there's so many videos about us. But number one is the CCP sycophants and the ultra-nationalists in China cannot stand me or Sea Milk. The reason is that we tell the inconvenient truths that they want to hide. You know, having actually experienced living in China for 14 years and Sea Milk 10 plus years, I've experienced a lot. Not only have I experienced a lot, I've filmed a lot. I have so much video evidence. So when I talk about a particular topic, I can back it up by showing actual video evidence of what I've seen and experienced. And these people know that it's the truth. It's irrefutable. When I speak about something, I don't make up stories. I speak about things that I've personally observed and experienced myself, and that I can back up with proof. And if it's not video evidence, it's some kind of document or something that I can read, because I can read, speak, and write Chinese. So they know it's true. And it hurts because they try to hide it. Remember, China's a face culture. And so when these kind of bad parts of Chinese society and culture are exposed, and of course, I don't only focus on the bad things, I focus on good things too, but I do focus on the bad things because nobody talks about them. They can't stand it, so they try to shut me up. So they make these videos to try and attack my character. Because when you can't win an argument, what do? You go after the person's character to try and smear them, try to make them seem like they're an unreliable source, try to make them seem like they're a racist or somebody who should not be taken seriously, so that when I speak truths, people doubt my truths because they think I'm, some kind of a crazy, racist, terrible person. So that's the number one reason. But actually, there's a much more selfish reason people make videos about me and Sea Milk, and that is because it's an easy way to get views. You know, it's taken so many years to establish my YouTube channel and to establish myself through my videos. I've been doing it for about 13 plus years now. It's hard work. It takes a lot of dedication. I'm faced with a lot of attacks and things like that. But actually, anyone who's a YouTuber knows how difficult it is to come up with ideas and to come up with videos and make a compelling video for people to watch. So, number one, I'm a very easy source of inspiration for videos because instead of them actually making good content themselves, they just need to look at one of my videos and then make a reaction video or attack me because it's an easy thing to do. I don't know what kind of video to make this week. I know what. Guaranteed views. I'll make a Serpent Today Lies video or a Serpent Today Exposed video or a Serpent Today is wrong and this is why I think so video, you see, because it's very easy. So, very easy source of content, but also guaranteed views. In fact, most of the CCP shill channels, you'll probably notice, got their start by attacking me or Sea Milk. You know, you go back in their video history, they were just kind of a non-existent channel. Then they make videos attacking me or Sea Milk, and suddenly they get a huge support base. And this is because there are a lot of CCP, 50 Cent Army, Wu Mao trolls out there, ultra-nationalists who completely hate my guts because I speak the truths that they don't want exposed. So they will give them support. And of course, the state, Chinese state-run media and the Chinese state, we all know, back these shills and they back these ideas. So when they attack me or Sea Milk, they love it. And so they make sure that they get a backing and a viewership. So it's an easy way to get views. So that pretty much answers it. It's cheap, it's cowardly, and it's easy views for them. Now, of course, I've seen some of the shill videos and I find them hilarious. And in some ways, it's quite flattering that they obsess over me so much. It's weird. And it just proves every time a new one of these Serpents at A video comes out, it just proves just how effective what I'm doing is. It shows you how much of an impact I'm having and how scared they are of my opinion. Because if they have to try that hard to try and silence me, I know I'm on the money. And so it's encouraging every time one of these come out. I don't watch all of them, no. It's boring. It's always the same thing. It's always like, Serpents at A Exposed, and then they show videos that I've myself put out there in public, and all of a sudden it's an expose. I don't quite get that part of it. What they do, most, in fact, all of them, is they take creative cuts and kind of take things out of context and then put their own opinions in. Oh, this is what he really meant. If you look at his body language, this is what he's saying. That kind of nonsense, which I find pathetic and actually, well, a little bit entertaining, but just pathetic. It's really funny. It's just all straw man arguments and gaslighting and so on. So, like I said, it's boring. I don't watch all of them. But I do find it very encouraging when new Serpents at A videos come out because I know that means that I'm still incredibly relevant when it comes to the China spheres because they are so afraid of me. And so from that point of view, yeah, I think it's quite good. That's very simple. You see, it's pretty effective these days. I'm sure everyone knows in the woke media and in the woke society. If you call somebody a racist, it immediately puts them in a position of defense. So whether they're a racist or not, the fact that you've called them a racist suddenly has to halt the flow of things, halt the process. So if I'm busy pointing something out, if I say, for instance, that the Chinese fishing fleets are overfishing the seas near the Galapagos and destroying the ecology there, which they are, and instead of somebody saying, okay, well, let's talk about it, let's try to fix this, or what can we do about it, or are the facts true, or do you have evidence, or anything like that, instead of doing that, because they know it's true, and they know there's a lot of evidence out there, it's super easy for me to point that out. So instead of going down a reasonable path of conversation or debate or whatever, all they do is immediately say, oh, you're just saying that because you're racist. You're a racist. You're a racist South African, apartheid South African, or whatever. You see, immediately that disrupts the flow of a proper conversation that might actually lead to a resolution, because that, in their minds, puts me in a position where I now have to defend myself and prove that I'm not a racist, apartheid South African, or whatever. Problem is, it doesn't work on me because I don't give a shit. People can call me racist all day and all night, because it's one thing to call somebody something, but if they don't take it seriously and don't believe it, like me, having been called a racist my entire life, I've just grown up with that because of where I was born. Which, if you think about it, it's pretty racist in itself to label someone something because of where they were born and the color of their skin. Just because I'm a white South African, all of a sudden I'm a racist. That in itself is racist. Anyway, the fact of the matter is it doesn't bother me, so it doesn't stop me. And they hope it stops me, but it doesn't. So I'm talking about something, they try to call me a racist, doesn't stop me from continuing to tell the truths and continue to say, okay, what about the Galapagos? What about the fishing fleets? And they can't understand why calling me a racist didn't work. Again, it's also very cheap and easy because I am a white South African to label me as a racist because, well, that in itself is kind of a racist stereotype. And it's something that most people will go to. So again, it's an attempt to try and discredit me and discredit what I talk about and discredit my experiences and my video footage and everything, because it actually works a lot of the time on weak-minded individuals. If you look at Twitter, if you look at the West, and I get it, if people grew up in America or whatever, publicly being called a racist is devastating for most people and their careers. Not me. Go ahead, call me racist all you want. It doesn't work. And if it had worked, well, it would have worked by now, since there's a billion videos out there and a billion people trying to call me a racist. And I'm sorry, if you think the Chinese government, the CCP, is a race, you're a moron. In fact, Chinese isn't even a race. Taiwanese people are ethnically Chinese, and the things I talk about don't apply to them, or Singaporeans, or the Chinese diaspora overseas. When I talk about the issues in China, I'm talking about mainland China, and I'm talking about what the CCP has done to shape the society there. That's the thing. I don't think these people understand who they're dealing with. I've had a very, very tough upbringing in South Africa. Not only just a tough upbringing, but I've been dealing with this jealousy and hatred shit for pretty much my entire life. I know exactly how to deal with it, and it's not a big deal. They go after my wife and family quite often, which really bugs the shit out of me, but it actually gives me more drive to continue doing what I'm doing. Because the more they do that, the more I will expose them for doing that, and the more it shows what I've been talking about, especially how Chinese society operates and the CCP mafia-style mentality, just how true it is. So the more they do these kind of things, the more hate they push towards me, the more nonsense they say about me, the more I can use that as video topics in the future to prove what I've been saying is true all along. So it kind of plays into my hands. And although, no joke, of course, anyone who experiences this amount of hate will definitely have times where it gets to them, myself included, where it just becomes fairly overwhelming. It's not something I haven't dealt with before, and it's not something I can't deal with. So that's why it doesn't bother me as much as I'm sure they wish it would. A message to all the people that obsess over me. I hope you realize just how pathetic you guys seem at the end of the day. The fact that I live rent-free in your heads that much is, it's embarrassing, to be honest. The more you obsess about me, the more videos you make about me, the more famous you make me. The more it's counter to what you really want, which is, of course, for me to disappear and be quiet. And I'm afraid that will never happen. You can label me whatever you like. You can try to make expose videos as much as you want. It's not going to stop me. You can do attempts to dox me. You can try to mess with my life in real life and all this stuff which you guys do anyway. It's not going to stop me. And the more you do it, the more ammunition I'm going to have to use against you, and the more videos I will make about your awful, abhorrent, cowardly behavior. So, my advice to all the sycophant shills out there is to start making your own damn content for once. How about putting out some good, compelling content that people can look at and admire and want to consume? Because if you want to get rid of me, it's a free market out there. Maybe you're just too used to China, the way they force things there, but YouTube is not a Chinese company, right? It's a free market out there. If you want to get rid of me, make better content so that people don't watch my stuff and watch your stuff instead. Rather than trying this jealous, cowardly attack stuff all the time, you might actually have a little bit of success. Either way, I'm not going anywhere. Thank you for all the obsessive, I don't know what you'd call it, like love-hate stuff that you guys do. It's ridiculous. It's entertaining. And I'm pretty sure I'll see you in the next one. Thanks a lot to Shillbusters for a entertaining video. And I can't wait to see you next time. Stay awesome.
You got Winston here. How you feeling, buddy? Today we're talking about the face filter apocalypse. Bloop, 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 bloop. Is this blackface?
She had bad teeth, tobacco-stained teeth. She had a big square face.
What's wrong with a square face, Winston?
And I think that's the worst part of these face filters, is that they are a lie. It's not reality.
When I take a breath, you fill up my life.